Welcome back, YouTube. My name is Tayvikes28, and we are once again jumping into this Toronto Huskies franchise. And there's some news, but we will get to that in a moment here. First things first, I'd like to thank all of you for tuning back in to what should be another interesting game. But before I start this thing off, I do want to mention that I changed some of the settings, some of the sliders. I wasn't happy with some of the things that were happening in our games. I'm sure some of you could, tell I was getting a little frustrated by my commentary and whatnot about the team. Part of the thing that I noticed was there had not been a single interception from either the Toronto Huskies nor, which that I'm fine with, but no, neither the Toronto Huskies nor any of the teams that we were facing, none of them had gotten a single interception. So I bumped up the interceptions in the slider settings just a little bit, and I'm going to see if it helps at all to make it a little more realistic, because some of those throws that we've seen over the last few weeks, they should have been intercepted. At least some of them. Maybe not every single one, but at least some of those throws. Because I'll be honest, Ryan Fitzpatrick, yes, he's been playing pretty good, hasn't thrown an interception yet, but I think that's all due to the sliders, because he's thrown some pretty bad, balls that have just gotten batted down or something like that, or the defender just can't catch the football for some reason. So I'm going to try and elicit some more interceptions, and also that might help out our defense. Maybe our defense can finally, intercept some of these footballs they've been batting down this season. So that would be nice to see. So a little bit more turnovers from both sides of the ball, make it a little more realistic. Because we've been getting fumbles. That I think the fumble number has been all right from both sides. But for me, it's the lack of interceptions that are a little alarming to me. Because at this rate, Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to go through the entire season without a single interception and be the best quarterback in football. So let's, hold the brakes on that, and instead we are going to change some of the settings. I'm going to work on it as we see these games progress and see exactly how we feel about the settings, because right now I only bumped it up, 5 or 6 points just to see how much of an effect it's going to have on the game. Because if one of these games all of a sudden they're throwing, 6 interceptions apiece to the quarterbacks, okay, that's going to be a little excessive. But I need to find that happy medium. And I'm worried that it's going to be a little bit time consuming. We're going to probably go through the rest of the season trying to find that happy medium. All right, give me 1 second here while I check in on something. I think there might be some breaking news, actually. So I will get into that in a moment. I have to double check. All right. So this is in fact breaking news. I just had to double and triple confirm with some of my sources here, but it appears that there's going to be a change for this Toronto Huskies team, and we have been hearing some rumors about some of our players having issues on this Toronto Huskies team, and one of those players being Isaiah Wilson, our starting right tackle, our young starting right tackle, who up to this point has had an up and down season, to start this year. And I mean, to be honest, he's one of our young offensive linemen. As you can see, we'll go through this offensive line, who I think was going to be a staple on this offensive line for what was going to be years to come. I say going to be because just now it was told by our NFL insider, Reese Recker, aka On the Record One, on Twitter, that, and I'll just read this off to you guys. Breaking news: the Toronto Huskies right tackle Isaiah Wilson is no longer going to be playing football as he is retiring from the NFL. He has stated, quote, "Personal reasons have caused me to step away from football. I want to thank the Toronto Huskies for the opportunity they have given me." So right now, it appears that, yes, all signs point towards that the Toronto Huskies starting right tackle, as you see on screen, Isaiah Wilson, in only his second season in the NFL, first season starting, and he's only gotten about 7 or 8 games into this season, and he is already deciding to step away from the game of football, quoting that personal reasons are at the forefront of the reason for him stepping away from football. It was nothing that the team had done and nothing that the coaches or fellow players could have done to keep him in the game. Apparently, Isaiah Wilson will be stepping away from the game of football. So I'm just going to go ahead and point this out, that what that means for this Toronto Huskies team is quite simply, they're no longer going to have a starting right tackle. And in fact, they are going ahead and releasing Isaiah Wilson and the remainder of his contract, which is a pretty significant hit for this team because they don't have a great offensive line to start with. And then you get rid of one of the youngest and most influential upcoming stars across that offensive line with Isaiah Wilson. That's going to impact them. So looking at this, the cap hit for this season is going to be about $6 million that they're shedding off the books, although part of that will come out as a cap penalty, and then the salary cap hit for the next year is 6.42, so about $6 million a year on that contract. But I do have to point out that normally, now we're going to break the realism here for a second, realism barrier. Normally, Isaiah Wilson would be cut and there would be no financial burdens upon this Toronto Huskies team because of it, because he is retiring and essentially no longer fulfilling his contract. However, given the fact that this is Madden, we cannot make that as realistic as we would like. So in this scenario, the Toronto Huskies are going to just simply release Isaiah Wilson. Obviously, first we will edit Isaiah Wilson, turning him into a punter, because he will no longer be playing in the NFL. So we will first do that to try and make it as realistic, quote-unquote, as possible. And then we're going to go to our new punter here with his 60 overall. I don't know why he's a 60 overall punter. We're going to probably change the set those as well to make sure that he doesn't get signed as a punter somewhere, because that would be hilarious. So let's see, kick power. Yeah, we're going to drop that down to 30 something. All right. Now what that means is that this Toronto Huskies team, we have been hearing whispers that Isaiah Wilson, as you see here, there will be a penalty of about $4.2 million, but will free up about $4 million as well. Although the Huskies don't have a problem with money, so that shouldn't be much of an issue for them. But yes, that is going to be Isaiah Wilson getting removed from this Toronto Huskies roster, meaning that chances are it will be a brand new rookie here in Merrill Wiley, who will now probably have an opportunity to start, who, as you see here, he's not a terrible starting tackle to have. However, he's not much of a run blocker, so we'll have to see how that affects the running game moving forward. And it looks like here that the yes, it looks here that Reese Rucker is saying Reese Recker, excuse me, is saying that it is official that the Toronto Huskies are obviously cutting or dropping, however you want to phrase it, the star young tackle Isaiah Wilson from their roster, and he is officially retired from the NFL. So, with that in mind, this is going to be big. This is very big news for this Toronto Huskies team, because now all of a sudden things have changed for this Huskies squad, and they're going to have to first off probably go sign somebody in free agency to fill out the roster, or someone from the practice squad. And so they're going to go ahead and look at the available free agents we are here. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, obviously there are some names out there that interesting are on some practice squads supposedly. But I do have to point out that we're going to probably focus on an actual right tackle here. So there's obviously not a ton available. There's some guys on some other practice squads we could vulture here, and I think that might be where we go. One of these guys at the top looks enticing, because they could at some point end up being forced to start this season. So keep that in mind. And looking at these first two guys, as you see, they're pretty similar builds with the way that they, I guess one is 6'7", a little bit more stereotypical tackle height. 6'5" though also is still pretty tall offensive lineman. And you see by these ratings here, it appears that the better pass blocker is probably going to be Justice Chase. And then it looks like the clear better run blocker is going to be James Young. And since we do in fact have a pass blocking right tackle, we're going to go with the run blocking right tackle here from the, that's right, Chicago Bears, James Young, the rookie on the practice squad. We're going to go ahead and sign him to our starting roster, which now means things are going to have to change a little bit here. Looking at the roster now, this is going to change exactly how we're going to set up the offensive line. As you see, still going to have Jedrick Wills, and now Nick Harris in the middle, obviously, Lorenzo Betts at guard, and probably Elijah Wilkinson still. But now that's going to push Merrill Wiley up into the right tackle spot. Depending on how he plays, James Young could also see some playing time there at some point this season. But hopefully we're going to stick with Merrill Wiley, and that should be how we're going to start this episode off. Big news, though. Very big news. And also some more news here. When it comes to the scouting, I have been working on the scouting and everything, and then I realized a large issue. In fact, I just realized it on camera, which is why I went a little quiet there for a moment. If we take a look at the free agents, here are some names, like Jonathan Taylor is out here, right? You're wondering why not go snag Jonathan Taylor. Well, first off, that's not very realistic. And second off, we have a problem here, because I did not realize, I went through and looked at the current players in the NFL, and apparently, for some reason, these players on the practice squads did not show up as current players. So players like Jonathan Taylor, who I had put into the upcoming draft class are now actually in the NFL again. So I am going to have to go through and re-edit pretty much the entire draft class, which certainly makes me a little bit sad, but hopefully I can, figure it out and am able to make a decent amount of changes that still fit what we want to do. Obviously, guys like Michael Pittman Jr., all right? Obviously, maybe I will just go ahead and either change these players that are currently, quote, in the NFL, or maybe I will just delete the other class and let it redo an auto-generated class or something like that. I don't know yet. I have to figure it out. As you see, Michael Pittman here, though, on the Cowboys, a few other guys at the top you got to see, and so that is going to change how we're going to be doing this draft class, which is unfortunate for me because I put a decent amount of effort into this. But anyways, moving on to our Week 8 game now with a whole different aspect attached to it, and that is a changing of the guard, or excuse me, of the tackle technically, but a changing of the guard at the offensive lineman position, because now we have a new starting right tackle and a new feeling in this locker room. I'm sure that changed the way things looked. So let's take a look at this breakout player before we get into things. And it looks like CeeDee Lamb has an opportunity here. If he gets 100 yards or 2 touchdowns, both of those are pretty big numbers for this offense with the way they're playing, but they have an opportunity here against this Indianapolis Colts defense to, increase what CeeDee Lamb can bring to the table. So let's just go ahead and jump into this, Week 8 game. This is also the trade deadline. So at the end of this Week 8, we will go ahead and take a gander at the trade block and see if there's anyone that looks enticing to us or maybe that we would like to trade away anyways. So without further ado, let's jump into this Week 8 game against this Indianapolis Colts squad. This is a Colts squad that has Phillip Rivers at the helm, which is ironic because he, in this game, was on the Chargers, then left the Chargers in real life and went to the Colts, and that's exactly what happened in this game, which is funny. So they also still have T.Y. Hilton and Quentin Nelson. You'll recognize some of these other players on the defensive side of the ball once we get into this game. But still, I am shocked by the news here that we had been hearing for ever since about week 4, I think, some rumblings about a couple of changes on this Toronto Huskies team, and we heard two different things. We heard one being personal reasons for one of these players, and that ended up being Isaiah Wilson with the personal reasons to leave not only the team but the entire game of football, which is a pretty drastic change. So hopefully everything is all right for him. And we're going to go ahead and... yes, I realized I made a mistake. So we're going to try this again. But anyways, we're going to, give our best to the, family and friends of Isaiah Wilson. Hopefully he is able to figure out those personal issues and is able to move forward at some point. And who knows, maybe he makes a return to the NFL. We will have to wait and see. But in the meantime, we will be looking to smoothly transition to the next man up, which is the rookie tackle, who luckily didn't have to start right away for this Huskies team. That is the, bright side of this, I guess, because if you look at it, he could have been put in a really tough spot. He could have not been able to sit behind Isaiah Wilson and sit behind some of these offensive linemen for this Toronto Huskies team and get to learn, essentially. But instead, he had that opportunity. Now, I understand it's not as long as you would have liked, but he did get an opportunity to sit back, learn a little bit, see the aspect and how the NFL works, because that is a huge change from college to the NFL, everyone assumes that it's just an easy transition, but that is not always the case. But now, jumping in here, as you see, this is going to be the Toronto Huskies coming to Indianapolis and facing off against the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. This is going to be a good one. We've got two veteran quarterbacks in this, two pocket passers as well, with Ryan Fitzpatrick and none other than, that's right, Philip Rivers. They do, I believe, still have Jacoby Brissett, who started for them last season. But it looks like Philip Rivers will be the guy for this Indianapolis Colts team this day. So as you see, these two teams are going to be coming onto the football team. And I think this Toronto Huskies team is just confused at this point. You know, they're having a lot of things happen for them, and they aren't sure what to do. As you see, that was Philip Rivers coming out onto the football field. Marlon Mack and company trying to fire up this offense on the sideline before the game starts. As you see, Marlon Mack had quite the day, about almost 10 yards per carry last game, finding the end zone, over 100 yards, and he is going to be a key offensive player for this Colts unit moving forward in this game. But without further ado, let's get into this game. Your Toronto Huskies are going to be starting off by kicking the football off to this Indianapolis Colts team. And you have Josh Lambo with the kick and not quite getting to the end zone. Is this going to be returned past the 20 to the 25, almost up to the 30? And that is where he goes down. The Indianapolis Colts and Philip Rivers, veteran Philip Rivers, coming out, who has had a up-and-down season. 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, pushing 1,500 yards. You know, he has been okay for this Colts team. He hasn't necessarily led them to a ton of victories up to this point. He, I think, has 2 victories on the season. So they're hoping to get another one here. As we start this game off, it's going to be a pass from Philip Rivers to his number 1 receiver, T.Y. Hilton, on that right-hand side there. And that was a nice catch by T.Y. Hilton. And you will take a look at this offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. I think one of, if not the best offensive lines in the NFL right now. And it is probably hands down going to be the most difficult matchup for this, you know, defensive line of our Toronto Huskies, who's been playing quite well this season. As you see there on the second down carry, Marlon Mack actually goes backwards there. So I'll be curious to see how this offensive line can affect both the passing game and this rushing attack, because we saw last week, actually, we saw a little bit of a struggle from this defensive line to stop the run when Tariq Cohen was just going all over the place on this Toronto defense, and he could not be stopped. And now we see Philip Rivers drop back for a pass again, this time finding a man over to the left-hand side. That's going to be complete, but only for about 4 yards. That's Paris Campbell on the reception, and I believe Josh Bynes coming up to make that tackle. Veteran making the tackle. It's very important to see these veterans continue to lead this squad moving forward. Alright, this is going to be a punt for Rigoberto Sanchez, and it's going to just bounce into the end zone. That was a pretty good punt. If he could have got that to stop, that would have been great field position for this Colts defense. So as you see, Ryan Fitzpatrick coming out onto the football field. Not a lot of yards this season, and he only has 3 touchdowns, no interceptions though. So he's been playing very clean football, very safe football. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to hopefully continue that trend for this Toronto Huskies team, but maybe get a few more shots down the football field. I'm going to start this off with a pass. All the time in the world, but he's finally runs out of time. That is Jabal Sheard on the sack. That is not a very good start for this Toronto offense. You know, Fitzpatrick had plenty of time there after the play action, but he just couldn't find anybody open. These receivers were not getting the separation downfield, And he may have had an opportunity down there in the middle, but by the time that that guy got open, Ryan Fitzpatrick was already moving in the pocket. As you see, Jabal Shear just... That right there is a coverage sack more than anything. All right, another pass here on 2nd and 19, and he's going to air it downfield, and that was almost a great play made by the veteran Delaney Walker down the seam, but he is dropped instead. As you see, this offensive line, you have a brand new starter at the right tackle position, and you see some of these young playmakers as well. They are going to be key to helping alleviate this pressure from this Colts defensive line. It's pretty good. Another throw, another deep ball down the field, and oh my gosh, I believe that was off the hands/helmet of CeeDee Lamb. That was a huge bomb uncorked from Ryan Fitzpatrick, going all the way down past the 50, and that was just a great play defensively, just barely getting a hand on it right there. That is Kenny Moore, the young corner. Look at that, he just bats that football away. And that's going to mean a Matt Hawk punt here from inside his own end zone. And he actually gets a pretty good leg on that one, getting it out beyond the 30. Is this Indianapolis coverage, or excuse me, return game. The coverage was actually good on the Toronto side, only allowing about a 7 or 8 yard return on that one. So that is going to be another drive now from this offense here in Indianapolis. It's going to be, of course, Phillip Rivers under center again. He's going to hand the football off, and look at that move made by Marlon Mack, making a man miss on the spin move, but still getting tackled for a loss by Josh Bynes once again. That means it's going to be 2nd and 11 for this Colts team at the 31-yard line. We're going to go with a bunch set on the outside edge on the right-hand side, and instead they're going to go up the middle, though, here, and that is going to be, once again, Marlon Mack with very little yardage. So let's take a look at this defensive front, who has been pretty good here for this Toronto defense. As you see, these young outside linebackers going to be combining with the veteran presence in the middle. In the back end, you got the 2 veterans of Logan Ryan and, of course, Rashad Jones at the safety position. So now Indianapolis drops back, and you see a little bit of frantic movement there, and what a shot downfield, and it just gets knocked out of the receiver's hands. That's Phillip Rivers feeling a little uncomfortable in the pocket, but still launches a deep ball down there to Paris Campbell, who looked like he did have his man beat, but that was just great ability to come back to the football for this Toronto team that just never gives up on the defensive side of the ball, and forcing another punt to start this football game. And this one is going to check up just short of the end zone. Great punt there by Rigoberto Sanchez, who's going to get it down inside the 5-yard line. This is not a great spot for this Toronto team to start from. And Ryan Fitzpatrick and company is going to have quite their work cut out for them here to start this drive. It's going to be a tough drive. So they have to go 96 yards to get a touchdown. As Ryan Fitzpatrick drops back and tries to get a throw off and is unable to. That looked very close to being a safety. That is Danico Autry with the sack. And it looked like it was supposed to be a quick pass, and they just didn't even have time to do that. I don't know, that really looked like it could have been a safety there. And actually, I think his front foot, I believe, was outside of the end zone. So this is as close to the end zone as you can get here at about the 2-inch line. And this is Patrick Laird getting a couple of yards back out to the 4.5, almost 5-yard line. as you take a look at this Indianapolis defense, look at that great defensive unit up front that they have. And then they have some pretty good linebackers with Telvin Smith and Darius Leonard. Telvin Smith just coming in from out of town in Jacksonville. And you have a lot of young pieces on the back end. And I think that's where they have to attack this defense, is down the football field against these young corners and safeties. And this is going to be another throw to the outside. What a catch! And that is what I'm talking about. Outside, that is C.D. Lamb getting his first reception of the day. One reception at 13 yards on that play. And Ryan Fitzpatrick just sitting in there as he takes a shot. But he just gives his receiver on a one-on-one opportunity. And C.D. Lamb making the play. Look at that, going up over the defender and making that play. That, if he would have stayed on his feet, he could have had even more yardage. And Ryan Fitzpatrick now pitches this out to the left-hand side, and he has blockers out there. That is going to be John Kelly with the pitch and run for about 6 yards. And this offense feels like the momentum is shifting in their direction as Fitz is in the backfield, in an empty backfield, excuse me. And another completion there over the middle this time. That's going to be the veteran on veteran, Delaney Walker, catching a pass from Ryan Fitzpatrick there for a first down. And Fitzpatrick drops back once again, and he's going to throw it over the middle, and it looks like he just missed his receiver there. That was intended for Delaney Walker over the middle, who it looks like he just overthrew a little bit. Now 2nd and 10, another pass here, this time to the outside, and it is caught for about a 4-yard gain. That is the rookie Keontae Bonds. Now in I formation, they're going to fake the pass here and go down the football field. They had a man open, but Fitz just misses the throw there, and he knows it. You know, he's looking at his feet. He's saying to himself, I can make that throw. I should make that throw. A guy right there coming across the field has a step on his man, and that would have been plenty for the first down and more. So even though they started way down there at the 4-yard line, they got up to the 33, but eventually stalled out, and another punt for this Toronto offense. And another booming punt here, and it just slides into the end zone. Matt Hack with quite the leg. Now you have T.Y. Hilton. Yeah, Ty Hilton, that would have been quite the name. But no, T.Y. Hilton coming out onto the football field. Hopefully catching another pass here on this drive from Phillip Rivers. As he's an empty backfield, Phillip Rivers has all the time in the world, finds a man over the middle, open. That's going to be a 3rd completion for Phillip Rivers on this day. Now 2nd and 3, and they're going to have a delayed handoff to the running back, and this is going to go for first down yardage and more. That's Marlon Mack bouncing it to the outside and finding himself a little bit of room getting out to the 37-yard line. See, Marlon Mack is an interesting guy. I think that he is one of the more underrated running backs, you know, in the NFL right now, because you take a look at Marlon Mack, he's the combination of speed, elusiveness, and power that is pretty rare to find in an NFL running back. And a little bit of miscommunication there, it looks like, as Phillip Rivers does a little spin and ends up throwing the football to Jack Doyle, who just flat out drops it. Making it 2nd and 10, and the fake to the running back, all the time in the world. Phillip Rivers over the middle. That is T.Y. Hilton with, like I said, the expected 2nd catch of the game. 19-yard gain too. So Phillip Rivers, the wily veteran, if you give him time in the pocket, he is going to pick you apart. And that is exactly what is happening right now for this Toronto defense. They are not getting the pressure as expected, to be honest. This is, like I said, the best offensive line in football, and they are protecting their quarterback right now. And another handoff up the middle. This is going to be Marlon Mack again, finding about a handful of yards here for this first down carry, setting up into a 2nd and manageable now at 2nd and 6. Phillip Rivers drops back once again, finds a man over the left-hand side, and tries to pick up a block from Marlon Mack, but is just a little bit too early over there, and Jack Doyle with the reception. And now once again, Phillip Rivers drops back to pass, finds his man over there to the right-hand side, and I believe that is Eric Ebron, or no, excuse me, Marquise Lee with the reception there. 7 yards and a catch, who I believe that is actually Marquise Lee, who ended up dropping that pass earlier that I said was Jack Doyle. This time not dropping the pass though on this first down, and then just like that, another quick throw to the receiver, and that's going to be Paris Campbell with his 3rd reception. And what's funny about that is they had that, if you saw, they had that little play action, made the linebackers bite just enough to find that opening for Paris Campbell in the 2nd level, and just like that, that's a first down. You know, it's simple play calling, but it's effective, especially when you have a veteran who knows how to fake those handoffs in Phillip Rivers. And now he's in the gun here to start off. 1st and 10. He's going to hand it off up the middle and gets a shoestring tackle, this defense does. That is Marlon Mack once again for about 3 yards on that first down carry. And it's going to finish this first quarter with a score of 0-0, but with this Indianapolis offense charging into not only the Toronto territory, but actually into the red zone. As this is another quick pass and a touchdown. That's right, a touchdown from T.Y. Hilton. Another one of those just quick passes where he gets it over to the guy who gets that quick release, finds the opening, and finds the end zone in that case. Getting to the first points on the football field today, which I have to say, points have been pretty hard to come by this season, it seems like. But Indianapolis puts up 7 of them as Ryan Suckup hits the extra point. Only 2 seconds into the second quarter, and we have our first points. Another kickoff here for this Indianapolis Colts team, and another return past the 25, and actually ends up making a move back behind the 25 and gets tackled. That's Ashton Doolin with the mistake there on that return. Now Ryan Fitzpatrick and company, they're going to try and continue some of that momentum that they had at one point on their last drive, getting from the 4 all the way down to the 33. With Fitzpatrick under center, they're going to hand this football off outside, a nice outside run, and that's going to get about 4 or 5 yards to start this drive. That is John Kelly on the carry. Now Fitz is in the gun, and he's going to throw this football on the angle route to the running back. That is Patrick Laird finding himself a first down on a 7-yard reception out of the backfield. Now Ryan Fitzpatrick is in the gun once again, and he's going to throw it again this time, and it is intercepted this time. First interception on the season for Ryan Fitzpatrick. That is the first interception on the season for Fitzpatrick, and he is a little upset with himself as he didn't even look over on the left-hand side before throwing it. He was trying to fake the defense out with that pump fake, but by the time he threw the football, by the time he looked over on the left-hand side, he had already thrown that football. And just like that, this Indianapolis offense has an opportunity to spread this football game into a 2-score game. And look at that. It appears that Phillip Rivers is ready to go after throwing a touchdown on that last drive. And another nice carry here on first down. Marlon Mack getting up there for about a 3 or 4 yard carry to start this drive. And they're already in field goal range, and Marlon Mack gets another big hole up the middle this time. And that's going to be a first down carry for about 9 yards. Definitely in field goal range now this Colts offense is, and what that means exactly is that it's going to be bend but don't break time for this Toronto defense, and Fitz is upset with himself on the sideline. He knows better, and he's like, I shouldn't have made that throw. But it's too late at this point. This Indianapolis team is driving once again. Another handoff, this time to the left-hand side. Gets about 2 yards to start this drive. Now making it 2nd and 8. And Rivers drops back, throws over the middle, finds his receiver. That is going to be, once again, T.Y. Hilton. With his 4th reception. Closing in on 50 yards on the day already. And it's not even halftime. That also gets him into a 1st and goal situation inside the 10-yard line. T.Y. Hilton putting him into a perfect opportunity to get a 2nd touchdown on this drive. And it's an empty backfield right now. Phillip Rivers in the gun, looking over the right-hand side. Quick throw. That is Marlon Mack with the receiving touchdown this time. And I have to say, things just are not looking too good for this defense, for this Toronto team right now. Just too much, that's a rookie mistake right there. That's just too much space to give to the offensive player that close to the end zone. Ryan Suckup nailing the extra point, making it 14-0. And Fitzpatrick, he's trying to talk up this offensive unit, getting their hopes back up. And it's going to be up to him to really get this team rolling in the right direction. As we see another return here from Ashton Doolin, this time getting past the 25 to the 26-yard line and getting stopped there. As you see, Ryan Fitzpatrick not having a very good day today. Probably his worst game to date. And Fitzpatrick drops back, hands the football off. Not drops back. And that's Patrick Laird going nowhere, though, with Malik Hooker coming down from his safety position to make a play on the football. All right, Fitz is under center here from the 25-yard line. Sends a man in motion from right to left, and he's going to hand off, though, to the running back on the right-hand side, and he actually goes backwards for a 2-yard loss. That is Kari Willis, the other safety, making a play on the football. And I have to say, this Toronto offense looks like they are playing it safe right now after that interception by Ryan Fitzpatrick. All right, Fitzpatrick is in the gun now on 3rd and 13. He's going to drop back, find a man down the right-hand side. That is, oh no, that should have been a completed pass. So I believe that is Henry Ruggs, but instead the defender getting there just in time to force an incompletion. Look at that throw down the sideline. If he would have put that a little bit further outside, I think that would have been a reception. But a little bit of, it's not bad ball placement, because obviously he got it to the receiver, but if he would have put that outside, that would have been a better opportunity for his receiver to make a play on the football. So now another Matt Hack punt. This time it's going to be covered inside the 20, down at the 19. Now Marlon Mack is not having as good of a day as he had last week, averaging over 10 yards a carry. And now quick pass here on 1st down, and a move made, and that is down the sideline. That's Marquise Lee with the quick pass from Phillip Rivers on the right-hand side, and he just puts on the Jets after making a man miss. And that is Logan Ryan, who he juked out. That could have been a touchdown there if the safety didn't get a good angle on that. We all know Marquise Lee has wheels. I believe he was a former track star. And now this time dropping back over the middle. That is another completion for Phillip Rivers, who is 12 for 14 right now. And that's going to be Jack Doyle with the first down reception. Nice placement of the ball, putting it only where the tight end can make the play there. Good awareness from Jack Doyle, too, to expect that football to come his way. So now, in field goal range already, this Phillip Rivers-led offense is going to fake another handoff, and he's got all the time in the world right here. Look at this. And then finding the open receiver after, I mean, what was that, like 7 or 8 seconds in the pocket? And then a reception from Marquise Lee, his third one on the day. And he has over 50 yards. It's also going to put them inside the red zone. And once again, another drive that will most likely result in points for this Indianapolis squad. Alright, another pass here. This is going to be a quick one over to the left-hand side, to the tight end, I believe. Alright, first down, they're going to fake the handoff, and there's all sorts of pressure right in Phillip Rivers' face. That is the rookie, Floyd Ellis. We have seen him play some of the best football on this team, and it looks like they were trying to set up some sort of a screen pass here, but they just ended up not throwing the football over on that left-hand side, instead allowing Floyd Ellis to come in and get to Phillip Rivers, who's not a very mobile quarterback. So that is the one opportunity for this defense to really put the offense in a bind. As Phillip Rivers drops back to throw again, he is scrambling and throws this out of the back of the end zone. I think he was feeling the pressure again. Maybe he has a little bit of happy feet after getting hit by Floyd Ellis on that last play. Now it sets up a field goal from Ryan Suckup. And that should be another 3 points on the football scoreboard right now, as you say, to this Colts team. 17-0. That's right, Toronto. They just don't even seem like they're in the same league right now as Indianapolis. And another return here, only getting to the 21-yard line this time, is Ashton Doolin. Now, this Toronto offense, they need to get things moving right now. You know, they've had some opportunities down the football field, but they just haven't converted them into receptions. And this time they're going to stick it on the ground. And what a move made there by Patrick Laird. But there's a flag down. This might be coming back.
Holding offense.
And it is. This is a holding on the offense. That's going to put them back to their own 13-yard line, making it 1st and 18. And now Ryan Fitzpatrick hands this one off outside. Goes Patrick Laird with only about a yard or two to gain. Now 2nd and 16, empty backfield for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to take this snap. A little bit of a blitz, but a quick ball out to the left-hand side, getting about 7 yards there. And making it 3rd and 10 now. That's CeeDee Lamb with his second catch. So Ryan Fitzpatrick drops back once again. A little bit of pressure, but he unlaunches a huge ball downfield. And that is not complete. It looked a little awkward on that attempt. I believe that was Henry Ruggs trying to get that football. He definitely looked awkward when he was trying to catch that. Almost like he didn't expect it to be put where it was. That was Kari Willis on coverage. Looks like it was almost just dropped, too, by Henry Ruggs. All right, now Toronto. They go ahead and punt this football. Nice little punt here, putting it out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Now Phillip Rivers comes back on after leading 3 good drives for this Indianapolis Colts team, finding points on all 3. Now Phillip Rivers is going to hand this one off to Marlon Mack, who breaks a tackle, but only gets a yard after that. Leading us to the 2-minute warning right now, and it is 17-0 from Indianapolis here. And they are just controlling this entire game. And Indianapolis is going to set up a screen on the right-hand side, and that's going to be caught. Nice block, and just like that, Marlon Mack has another first down and more, getting out to the 41-yard line. That was really good blocking down the football field from this Colts offensive line that got out there and got plenty of room for Marlon Mack there.
180, block 15. I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
Indianapolis now drops back on 1st and 10, and they find a man over the middle. A short pass, but should be another decent gain on first down. 6 yards from Phillip Rivers to Jack Doyle with his 3rd reception. And now another throw over the middle. This time it's going to be T.Y. Hilton on 2nd and 4, finding the first down to the 45, 44-yard line. Phillip Rivers once again in the gun with only about a minute to go, and he's going to not find his receiver, as it is incomplete. That was intended for Marquise Lee, but ended up getting a hand on the football over the middle. Now Phillip Rivers does find his man over the middle on this 2nd down throw. And now Indianapolis takes their first timeout with 57 seconds left to go. And they're in field goal range at the 35-yard line. And Phillip Rivers there, struggles to... Well, actually, he finds the open man in Marlon Mack, but Marlon Mack struggles to catch the football. A little bit of the stone hands there as it hits him right in the numbers, but he just drops it, making it 4th and 1. A 52-yard field goal attempt here from Ryan Suckup, and he is going to hit this, making it 20-0, and it is not even halftime here. At this point, assuming that the Toronto Huskies don't score before halftime, I think where the route is on here in Indianapolis. But they still have an opportunity here before halftime to put some points on this football scoreboard, but I don't know. This is not looking too good for this Toronto Huskies team right now. They are starting to look rejected there, or dejected on the sideline and coming out. It's not looking too good. So Ryan Fitzpatrick needs to put some Fitzmagic together here on this drive, as he's got a little bit of pressure. Finds a man, though, on the quick dump off to the left-hand side on first down. They're going to call their first timeout. Only a gain of 4 yards there. That's Keontae Bonds. And another throw down the football field, and that is once again not complete. Ryan Fitzpatrick, only 6 completions on the day so far. And they're going to send the running back out of the backfield here. Empty backfield, meaning Ryan Fitzpatrick is throwing here and finds wide open over the middle. That is, Jesper Horsted. Thought it was Delaney Walker for a second. That's going to be a second timeout from this Toronto team. Now down to the 48. Fitz is going to throw again, short, and it is caught after being bobbled, but that actually goes backwards. They're going to have to use their final timeout, so they're going to have to use the sidelines here if they want to get into scoring range, and they're going to fake a handoff, and Fitz is loading up deep downfield, and that is caught! It is caught! They're down to the 1 yard line, though, and no, there is no timeouts. And no time for Fitz and company to get down there. And John Gruden is just upset right now, and I do not blame them. Oh, that should have been a touchdown. What a play, though. And we're going to take some looks around the country here at some games at halftime. Let's start this off, though, down in Houston, with the Green Bay Packers coming to town, and a close game as Josh Rosen is starting for the Houston Texans. Obviously, we have Deshaun Watson injured previously, so now Oakland is going to Kansas City, and right now Kansas City is taking, control of this football game. Derek Carr, he's trying his best with only 4 incompletions on the day, but only 7 points to show for it. Close game out here in Philadelphia. The Redskins and Dwayne Haskins, they are putting up 7 points and really giving Philly all they can handle. Carson Wentz and company trying to, sneak away with a victory, staying ahead of them in the standings. But back to this game, and I believe that could have been CeeDee Lamb who had that really nice reception before halftime. If he could have fell into the end zone there, that could have totally changed this game. Because assuming that he falls into the end zone, that would be a 7-point, swing before halftime. And then another opportunity here to score coming out of halftime. And just like that, it would be a 1-score game. But instead, they're down 20 coming out of halftime with Patrick Laird taking this first down carry for 4 yards. And now Ryan Fitzpatrick drops back to throw over the middle, finds another reception for none other than CeeDee Lamb, with his 5th catch on the day. And, CeeDee Lamb is only 21 yards away from hitting 100, which I know was a goal of his coming into this game. Now in I formation, this Toronto offense with Ryan Fitzpatrick under center will probably hand off here, and that's exactly what they do. Nice move there made by John Kelly to get some extra yardage. Gets down to the 40-yard line, making it 2nd and 4. And now another handoff, this time to Patrick Laird, who gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, making it 3rd and 4 here. Empty backfield for Ryan Fitzpatrick on 3rd down. He's going to take this snap. He's going to scan and miss his receiver over the middle, who's coming open. But he was he should have waited, been a little more hesitant, allowing his receiver to get into that open space, but instead trying to force the throw early and just misses it. As Matt Hawk preparing to punt once again. And another nice punt, but just slips into the end zone. It's had a lot of those today where it's just a little bit too far. As Phillip Rivers and company head back out onto the football field with only 5 incompletions on the day from Phillip Rivers. He's playing very good football for this Colts team. And he drops back, quick pass here over the middle, and I believe that's going to actually go for negative yardage.
Your trip is here, baby. Your trip is here.
Yes, that's going to be negative yardage on that catch. And I don't know, it looks like they were just trying to get the football out of Rivers' hands quickly. almost too quickly. All right, Indianapolis in the gun here. Going to drop back. Phillip Rivers has all the time in the world. Finds a receiver down the left-hand side on a corner route. And that is T.Y. Hilton with another reception. Over 200 yards passing now for this Indianapolis squad. And that is Nick Needham on coverage, who just lets T.Y. Hilton get behind him. He makes the tackle, but just too late. As you see, this defense is fired up on the sideline. They are playing knockout football on the defensive side for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this Toronto Huskies defense, you know, they've been trying, but I think they're just overmatched right now. And, oh my goodness, that's going to be a sack there. Floyd Ellis, while getting blocked, gets the sack. That is shades of Jared Allen there. And he just reaches out, brings the offensive lineman Mark Lewinsky and Phillip Rivers down together. That is just pure power from Floyd Ellis, the rookie. First ever draft pick for this Toronto Huskies franchise, and he is looking like a staple. Here on 2nd and 14, a quick pass over the middle, and that is going to be complete to Harris Campbell. A 10-yard gain, making it 3rd and 4. That was a good read there by Phillip Rivers, finding the open man, making it a much more manageable 3rd down here. Now at 3rd and 4, we have 3 receivers on the left-hand side. Phillip Rivers in the gun. He's going to take this. Look over to the right-hand side, though, and complete, but short of the 1st down. That is Jack Doyle with his 4th reception. The rookie Branch able to come in and make that tackle. Almost actually has that ball batted by Josh Bynes, who is just a little bit late on the attempt there. But they still are able to make the stop. One of the few times that this Colts team has punted today outside of those first few drives. And that's going to be going through the end zone for a touchback. All right, Toronto's offense comes back out onto the football field, led by Ryan Fitzpatrick. And he's under center in the I formation. They're going to pitch it out to that left-hand side. And a nice move from John Kelly gets him down to the 24 for a 4-yard pickup here on 1st down. Now Ryan Fitzpatrick is in the gun now, and he's going to have a quick throw over there to the right-hand side. Initially I thought it was going further outside, but instead Delaney Walker jumps up, makes the reception, making it 3rd and inches now from the 30. And they're going to go ahead and elect to hand this football off, and Patrick Laird fighting for the 1st down and does get it, getting about 2 yards on the carry. Now let's see if Toronto can turn this game around and at least get some points on the game or on the board, because right now they need anything. In I formation, it's going to be a throw though, as Ryan Fitzpatrick has a bunch of time, but just throws it into the ground. That's, you know, on the verge of intentional grounding, but here we go, a handoff here on 2nd and 10, and they're going to get 2 yards on this carry from Patrick Laird, forcing a 3rd and 9 here from the 34-yard line, as Ryan Fitzpatrick takes this, and actually they elect to hand it off. I don't know what this play calling is right now. I don't know if they were going to try and catch Indianapolis sleeping, but Justin Houston all over that on the running back dive. It looks like our cameramen are struggling right now. as you see, this defensive unit, you know, they're just tired at this point. You know, Rasheem Green is like, man, what else do they want us to do? And to be honest, you know, they actually have played pretty good. What a punt here. Oh no, I don't think that could have rolled any further. That was almost out of all momentum, but Matt Hack just barely having that roll into the end zone. And those are the type of breaks that Toronto's just having today that are not falling their way. And Toronto here is set up with a 1st and 10 from the 20 as they get a tackle for loss here on Marlon Mack. And that is Lano Hill with the tackle. It's going to set up a 2nd and 12 now from the 18-yard line. Empty backfield here for Phillip Rivers, who drops back and throws a quick pass over the middle, and that is going to be complete to Jack Doyle. Once again, his 5th catch on the day. And they are just spreading this football out a ton. It's like you get a pass, and you get a pass, and you get a pass. Everybody gets a pass on this offense. I think on average, these receivers all have about 5, catches apiece. So now Phillip Rivers is going to throw once again. Another corner out there to the outside, and they just cannot stop that. T.Y. Hilton with a 22-yard reception and another 1st down, getting into Toronto territory now. And that time it was the rookie Branch allowing the reception on the corner route. And this time on 1st down, it's going to be a nice run, powerful run from Marlon Mack, getting the initial grab on him was within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, but ends up with 8 yards on that 1st down carry. And Marlon Mack is going to get a fake here, and Phillip Rivers down the middle of the football field, finding Marquise Lee once again. I believe he has over 80 yards now, Marquise Lee, and that has been a great addition for this Indianapolis team, who just picked him up this offseason. Now 1st and goal from the 9-yard line, and they have Marlon Mack getting another carry here down to the 7. It's going to be a 2-yard carry on 1st and goal. Now 2nd and goal. Phillip Rivers, I keep saying Fitzpatrick, and he's under pressure though, and he goes down. That is Ifedi Odenigbo, who I believe marks their 3rd sack of this game. Toronto actually getting to Phillip Rivers a little bit, despite how great that this offensive line has been playing this game. It's going to be their 3rd sack allowed. Ifedi Odenigbo. What a nice play there. Getting off the block and finding Phillip Rivers. Now a 3rd and goal here from the 13-yard line, and they're going to go ahead and let this clock run out on the 3rd quarter, heading into the 4th.
With the score, Colts 20, Huskies nothing.
It is still 20-0 right now, going into the 4th quarter. All 20 of those points getting scored in the 2nd quarter. Although on 3rd and goal, there's some opportunity for some more points to get put up by this Indianapolis offense. Under center, Phillip Rivers, he's going to actually elect to hand this football off to Marlon Mack, who just goes down to the 10-yard line and sets up another field goal.
27-yard attempt.
And Ryan Suckup here kicks his third field goal of the game.
Makes the score Colts 23, Huskies nothing.
And that's going to make the score 23-0. And at this point, Toronto's just fighting for pride. And they're going to go ahead and return this out past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Ashton Doolin trying to make something happen. .10:25 left in this fourth quarter, as Ryan Fitzpatrick is in the gun to start this drive. And he's going to elect to throw, moving the pocket, finding a receiver down the football field, and those are the throws that we need to see. C.D. Lamb with a 29-yard reception. You know, he is showing up big for this Toronto team today. Look at that. Just finding the perfect spot to throw that football, and C.D. Lamb just going in front of the defender and saying, "That is mine." I believe that was once again Kenny Moore getting victimized on that play. And they are actually in Indianapolis territory here. And they're going to elect to hand this football off on first down, getting 4 yards to Patrick Laird, making it second and about 5.5 here. And Ryan Fitzpatrick in the gun. He's going to move around in the pocket, down the football field, and off the defender's hands. That was dangerous right there. He did have a receiver streaking down the sideline, but the safety was there for extra help. So Fitzpatrick drops back once again, throws a floater down the right-hand side, and Delaney Walker gets baptized as he goes up to catch that football, and there was no way he was going to get that. And it was a decent throw there from Fitzpatrick with the touch pass, but all sorts of defenders in the area. And they're electing to go for it here at 4th and 5 from the 44-yard line. And Fitzpatrick drops back. He looks over to the left-hand side, and no way was that going to get complete, as C.D. Lamb really tried to come back to that football. As you see here, he was trying to get position, fighting for position, but is unable to do so. And now Phillip Rivers having one heck of a day. 299 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, only 5 incompletions. He's going to come back out under center. They're going to hand it off to, that's right, Marlon Mack, who just continues to grind out yardage here with a 4-yard carry on first down. And now at this point, they are running clock out. And another handoff to Marlon Mack, who is finding room out there to the left-hand side. And that was a nice run to get down to the 40-yard line. I believe that was a 13 or 14-yard run from Marlon Mack and a first down. And look at that. He is protecting the football at all costs. 8 minutes left in this fourth quarter. And Phillip Rivers is going to hand it off again to Marlon Mack, who continues to protect that football, getting 7 yards on first down. And the Toronto Huskies defense, you know, they're ranked in the top 5 for yards allowed this season, but today sitting at 350 and counting. And now, once again, a handoff up the middle. Marlon Mack finds the hole and gets at least 11 yards on that carry. And just like that, Marlon Mack, he's closing in on 100 yards, only about 22 yards away. Rashad Jones on the tackle. Now Phillip Rivers in the gun. He's going to hand it off again. And that is Jordan Wilkins with the 2-yard rush on first down. Now under center. Phillip Rivers hands it off for about the 6th time in a row, and look at that hole, look at that space. Jordan Wilkins gets about 11 yards on that carry and is now set up on a 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. And that is just the offensive line paving the way for these running backs right now. I do not believe that Indianapolis has attempted a pass on this drive, but it looks like they will here as they have an empty backfield. And over the left-hand side, that is going to be a pass from Phillip Rivers to Jack Doyle, and he's going to reach 300 yards officially on the day with that 1 or 2 yard pass to Jack Doyle. As you see, that was Zaire Franklin on the tackle. Now 2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. Under center, you have Phillip Rivers. He's going to drop back, elect to throw over to the right-hand side, just through the back of the end zone, actually. He just throws that one away, and now it's 3rd and goal with 5 minutes left in this 4th quarter. And Phillip Rivers is under duress and just throws that one away. That was a dangerous play there for this Indianapolis Colts team. Almost gets sacked. But instead, it should set up another field goal from Ryan Suckup. I hope you guys have him in fantasy this week because he is getting all the field goals. That is going to be his 4th field goal on the day, making it 26-0. As this Toronto team, I would love to see them put some points on the board. I don't care how many it is. 3, 6, 2, 7. I don't care. As Ashton Dooling returns this kick out past the 20 to the 22-yard line, but I desperately need to see some offense. You know, we saw some nice plays, believe it or not, from this Toronto, offense throughout this game, but CeeDee Lamb with 108 yards. He reached his goal of 100 yards on the day, and hopefully he can get some more here on this drive. As obviously an empty backfield here for Ryan Fitzpatrick, an obvious passing situation, and once again, a nice reception, this time Jesper Horsted on the 8-yard catch. And now Fitzpatrick in the gun again, and he's going to look over the middle of the football field, and that's going to be another completion. What a play here. That is Keontae Bonds, who, the rookie, that nice play, but it looks like he's hurt. It appears he is hurt, favoring that right leg, as they're going to go ahead and bring him to the locker room and get checked out. But what a play, getting down to the 40-yard line. And now Ryan Fitzpatrick, he has this offense moving, and another reception here and fighting for yards. That is going to be Delaney Walker getting down to the 35-yard line on a 5-yard reception. And now Fitzpatrick, empty backfield once again. He's going to throw over the middle again, and this time it is dropped. And that was intended for Patrick Laird, their running back. Now it's 3rd and 5 at the 35-yard line. They are in field goal position. They're going to move Patrick Laird out of the backfield. So now Fitz is by himself, looking over the middle. Another completion, this time down to the 31. I believe that is going to be Henry Ruggs with his first reception on the day. Darius Leonard on the tackle. That was a first down saving tackle right there from Darius Leonard. And we might finally get some points here from this Toronto offense. They're setting up for a Josh Lambo field goal, and they're going to fake it instead. And look at this. They're going to pitch it. And just like that, that looks like it's a first down. Some trickery here in Indianapolis, and Toronto, they're continuing to drive down the football field. setting up a screen pass here and having nowhere to go, as that looks like Patrick Laird, who does make the reception, but he ends up getting hurt on the play. Javal Sheard making the tackle. And he is going to head to the locker room as well. So a bunch set here to the right-hand side for Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is in the gun. He's going to take this. Another screen pass set up, this time to John Kelly, and he is going to get some yardage here down to the 21-yard line. I believe that's going to be about 8 or 9 yards. And here's another opportunity for Ryan Fitzpatrick and company. They're going to snap this before the 2-minute warning, and Fitz is going to run on this RPO, and that was something you don't see every day. I'm assuming they're not going to go for it here and just elect to actually kick the field goal this time, and that is exactly what they do. Putting up 3 points, Josh Lambo, the first points in this game for Toronto. At least there will be no shutout for Toronto. And they're going to elect to go for an onside kick here. Kind of a last-ditch effort here to get the football again. And it looks like it's going to be recovered by Indianapolis.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
And that should mark the end of this game, essentially, pending a first down or two. I expect to see a heavy dose of Marlon Mack on this drive, just like last. And Phillip Rivers is in the gun, and he elects to throw the football here. What is going on? And that is an incomplete pass here. And Phillip Rivers under center. And they're going to go ahead and hand it off this time, though, to Marlon Mack, and he gets some yardage, carrying defenders down to the 37-yard line. And now making it 3rd and 1. And Phillip Rivers once again hands this football off on 3rd and 1, and they get 2. Marlon Mack getting the necessary yardage for first down and pretty much ices this football game away. That was the rookie Floyd Ellis on the tackle. Phillip Rivers under center. They're going to hand it off up the middle again with only a couple of yards there to gain. But that will mark the end of this game as zeros hit the clock here in the 4th. The final here in Indianapolis, as the home team gets the victory 26 to, excuse me, not 0 anymore, 3. 26 to 3. Toronto having once again another poor performance on the offensive side of the football. As you see, a nice 300-yard performance from Phillip Rivers. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, his first interception this season. And I have to say, you know, we talked about changing those sliders. And despite the fact that, you know, Phillip Rivers didn't throw any interceptions today, I think it was just enough of a change, because that throw where Ryan Fitzpatrick threw that interception, I don't think that would have been an interception in most of any of those other games. So I think we're going to keep it pat with what we have right here and see how this goes for the rest of the season, as we're going to go ahead and finish this game out. Final score 26 to 3, Indianapolis over Toronto. And I'm curious to see, though, I do believe that CeeDee Lamb actually got his dev trade upgrade. We'll have to check this, though. you know, why not? Let's go ahead and give us some good news to end this episode. That would be nice. So let's check out CD Lamb. And yes, he is saying, I told you I was primed for big things this week. I want to be a top receiver in the NFL. And man, today was a good start. And I have to say, it does look like CD Lamb is preparing to be the star for this offense moving forward. And because he was going up against a, while yes, young secondary, pretty good secondary still, and he was able to make Kenny Moore, who was a pretty good corner, look pretty silly out there. So once again, 20,000 XP too, and Star Dev going to our new, or not new, but our number 1 wide receiver here. As you see the lineup, our first Star Dev player on the offensive side of the football field. That's what we like to see. Defensively, we have a couple of star players. You see Floyd Ellis in there. You see Logan Ryan. Rasheem Green is at Star Dev. The rookie Branch is as well. Actually, Rashad Jones, the veteran. Quincy Williams got that last season. So we see some of these players on the defensive side of the ball, which is probably why they're playing so well this season. You know, they are really one of the better units in the NFL, as you saw. And despite the fact that they did struggle against Indianapolis, that's just a great team, though, in a terrible matchup. You know, they have the best offensive line in football, and while our defensive line has played, you know, better than expected, they are still not much of a match for that offensive line. And we're still able to get 3 sacks, though. You know, Floyd Ellis and Afedi Adenabo have been really good this season. Beckwith has been a little quiet, but maybe he can turn things around with this as the season gets on. Rasheem Green has started out pretty slow, but has gotten a couple of sacks recently, so I'm pretty impressed defensively with this unit so far. Offensively, though, something needs to change. I don't know what it is, and we'll have to see, because obviously we have seen the change in Mr. Wiley here, the new starting right tackle, and to be honest, I didn't see a situation where Ryan Fitzpatrick was actually getting pressured that much in that game. Yes, he got sacked, you know, once or twice, but honestly, I think that they held up pretty good against a good Indianapolis front. So I'm going to see how this goes. Maybe Wiley getting up in there as a starter is not the worst thing for this team. But I believe that's going to wrap up this Week 8 episode. Oh, wait, one more thing before I forget. First off, let's check out this injury. That's no good. Injuries are bad. We hate those. And that's Keontae Bonds with a partial ACL tear. Not a full one, though, thankfully. But it is going to keep him out for 5 weeks. And that's going to really hurt because he's been really good for this offense. One of the few bright spots offensively this season. So we're going to have to look for another playmaker in the coming weeks. Luckily, I believe that... Nope, I am incorrect. I thought that we may have had... I couldn't remember if we already had our bye week. I believe we did in week 5. So it's going to be 5 actual games that he's missing. But one more thing that I wanted to check out was the trade center. Let's look at the trade block. All right, and who knows, maybe we can find ourselves not a new starting quarterback, of course, because we have Ryan Fitzmagic. Don't need a new starter, but maybe we can find some other impressive pieces on the trade block that could help this squad out. As the rushing attack has been lackluster, maybe we make a move. I don't know. There is Tony Pollard out here, a young guy from Dallas. Raheem Mostert, obviously. We have a couple of other guys here. Jet McKinnon. Chase Edmonds. So, if any of these guys pique your interest, let me know. Maybe we'll go get them. The wide receivers that are on the market, we have a couple of them. Some veterans, mostly, it looks like. As you see, there are some guys out there, not a ton. At tight end, I believe we're good with Delaney Walker and Jesper Horsted. They've been playing really well this season. So we have some other guys that are available here, but none of these necessarily... Oh, Dawson Knox, though. None of these guys will... I don't know. I don't think we need to make a move, I guess, at the tight end position. Right tackle, we could trade for a right tackle, although Wiley did seem to play pretty well. A right guard, there's probably not a lot on the offensive line out here. Most of the offensive linemen they like to hold on to, which I don't blame you. I mean, that offensive line is so important. Brian Allen would be interesting at center, but at right, or excuse me, left guard now. As expected, not a whole lot out here at those positions. Some young left tackles, though. At right end, we do have Sam Hubbard as a potential player to get. So, like I said, if any of these guys pique your guys' interest, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. Danico Autry, who got that sack in the game that we just played. Also a good run defender. Trey Hendrickson on the left-hand side there. And then at the linebacker position, we'll take a gander here. Like I said, I'm not expecting us to make any trades necessarily, but if there's anyone that jumps out at us that we really like, you know, maybe, I mean, young Vosan Joseph would be interesting, I guess. Andrew Van Ginkel. Now, there's a name. A young Ben Burkervin. Huh. Interesting. Some of these old Vikings here. Not old as in, like, age-wise, but... And then at the corner position, we have Joe Hayden out there. So a lot of these guys are probably going to be veterans at the corner spot with larger contracts. We could take on a large contract, so that's not something we have to worry about. Sidney Jones, that's interesting. Lasan Austin. Caleb Witherspoon. So some interesting corners out here. Amani Oruwariye. Fun fact, that man gets penalized every 5 seconds. Darius Phillips. He also can return punts and kicks. So if we wanted to try and get a dual threat guy, Darius Phillips could be one of those options. Rashad Fenton, young player. I always liked Robert Alford. A little underrated player. Now at safety, we do have obviously Rashad Jones at the strong safety spot. We could look for an upgrade at free safety, as let's just be nice and say Lano Hill has been struggling a little this season. Jalen Thompson would be very intriguing. Let's take a gander. What is Jalen Thompson looking like? He's got 90 speed, decent zone coverage there with 77. Awareness isn't too bad. He can actually catch the football a little bit. So really we just work on his tackling ability and some of these other things like pursuit and play rec, and we have ourselves a pretty good safety here in Jalen Thompson. So that might be, if we trade for someone, I'm thinking Jalen Thompson. You know, I kind of want to do it right now, to be honest. How would you guys like to see a trade here? The first ever trade in Arizona, or not Arizona, in a Toronto Husky franchise. That could be a route that we go. We'll have to, I guess we'll wait and see, though, as you'll finally see some of these strong safeties to finish out. And then, oh yes, Daniel Sorensen. We can get burnt toast Daniel Sorensen. Obviously no kickers and punters on the trade block. So that is going to wrap up here looking at the trade block. I think I'll actually make a trade possibly off camera if I do. So let me know if any of those guys pique your interest. And if so, maybe I can go out and get them. I am really leaning towards going and getting Jalen Thompson, though, to really help out this struggling, you know, not necessarily struggling defensive unit, but just to give us, since the defense is going to be on the football field so much this season, why not help them out and make them as good as possible? So maybe it'll at least help our offense have more opportunities. So I think that's going to wrap up this episode, though, and Week 8 is in the books right now. Your Toronto Huskies are 1-6 after losing 26-3 to Indianapolis. And I don't know. You know, I thought at the beginning of the season there was a chance. I started to believe when we were at 500. I know it's crazy to think this team was at 500 at one point, and now at 1-6, it feels like they're never going to win another football game. But we will have to see, as we will be facing the Baltimore Ravens in a tough matchup against Lamar Jackson next week. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'm going to have my work cut out for me fixing this draft class once again, because I messed that up. And maybe you will see a trade to start the next episode. So until then, I thank you for watching. My name is TayVikes28, and have a great rest of your day.